Nerd News Network.
Yes, quite a lot of news this week.
And I feel like none of this is just, like, pardon my French, bullshit news either. It all seems, like, decently important. Not that we'd ever huck bullshit news at you. Okay. Creature Commando Season 2 is currently on the development fast track, according to James
Yes.
Gunn. Not a massive surprise, the show's been a massive breakout success.
Yeah.
Not a surprise to me that they've kind of
Yeah.
gone, yeah, let's get that going a bit faster.
I imagine James Gunn's like, okay, this was loved. We need, like, let's get this as a more regularly occurring show.
Even if it's just the good press of we're fast tracking it, is worth a lot right now for
Yeah.
DC.
And it's one of those things where it's going to be a solid show between these big films while they're still setting up this DCU of like, oh, people are enjoying this. It's a bit of fun. Like, we can just flesh out the world a bit through it as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
good to hear.
Daniel Craig has reportedly dropped out of Sergeant Rock for DC, with Jeremy Allen White apparently the favourite to replace him, according to the Hollywood Reporter. I believe you also sent this tweet to me.
I think I did, yeah.
And my reaction was basically, it sucks to lose out on Daniel Craig.
Hmm.
And I don't like the casting of Jeremy Allen White because he feels like such a hot actor right now. I feel like you could do more with him.
I fear that name being thrown around is just press throwing
Very
that name
possible.
at things because, like you say, he is the hot topic of male actors. And I'm sure there is talks in DC of like, is there a role for him? Because he's like the talk of we should find a role that fits Jeremy Allen White because like he's a hot topic. I think it's a shame that Daniel Craig, apparently it's scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
And I get like it's not like a huge major DC role, let's be honest. It's not like one of the big name characters. So he's probably quite willing to be like, I'll pass on it and do this other thing that I'd rather do.
This is depressing, heartbreaking news. I had a crash out on Twitter about it, and I do not regret it. I think I was actually incredibly reserved. Amazon have gained full creative control over the James Bond franchise, while Rebecca Broccoli, and the other gentleman still own the James Bond franchise. They no longer in creative control. They're going to go off and work on different things.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be reading into a bit, but I take it as we know that they were struggling on lining up on creative direction.
She called them fucking idiots 3 months ago, and they've worn her down so much. Let's be clear. They've also thrown a fucking massive check at both of them.
Probably, but yeah, they've worn them down to a point where they've gone, we've made enough Bond movies. Is it worth this headache of trying to work with Amazon? Actually, they're at their point in career where it's like, I kind of would like to work on other stuff. You know what? I'll take the check and I kind of wash my hands of this. It's not worth the battle to me, which I get. Like, you can be like, it makes sense. Like, who wants to try and battle Amazon on this? Like, I can imagine. Yes, but like,
do you reckon there's a job for me in the world of just when people are getting worn down by big corporations in a creative aspect, I will be the guy who just sits in a room. I will sit opposite Jeff Bezos for 14 hours a day just going, no, fuck you. I will do that. I'll do it for minimum wage. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's... I get why they've stepped away from it.
Oh, like, I fully get that, how draining it must be, like, say, to Amazon to be like, let's do this, let's do this. And you're just going, no, that makes no sense. No, that makes no sense. And then they go, here is a check for $10 million. Stop caring. I get how after 2, 3, 4 years, you might just go, yeah, fuck it. I do. Like, I get it.
Yeah, and, like, they've made so many Bond films. They know that, like... And here's the thing. It's kind of a win-win for them. Because... they'll leave if this flops afterwards. Everyone goes, they were the creator, like they were what Bond was. if it's a subpar film, people go, "Oh, the old Bond films under these people were so much better than what Amazon did." Like the Star Wars and Disney stuff. Everyone says Star Wars from Disney has been worse. Like, it's the same situation. No one's going to blame them for walking away, and they're going to still get all the
I
fame for
will.
the original Bond films. So,
I will. I'm gonna hold
uh,
them personally responsible.
no,
You know how much of a special place James Bond holds in my heart for my love of cinema.
I know.
Seeing this British film franchise become bastardized by Hollywood and America and the 19 billion fucking TV streaming service bullshit spin-offs we're gonna get. The fact that Jeff Bezos asks fucking Twitter who should be Bond,
That's just a marketing thing.
and then I have to spend 24 hours screaming into the fucking void if you say Henry Cavill, you know nothing. It's done my head in.
Let me
Why
put
for
it.
so
Let me
long
just be
have
clear.
tried.
You are probably safe from it being Henry Cavill because he is in full blown production mode now for his Warhammer 40k project with Amazon.
Cool. If they come knocking for James Bond, he'll do it. He will. They'll Mandalorian
I
him in the 40k stuff.
I don't know if he does because this is copium, and I like to think that from what we've learned from Henry Cavill of his respect of the media, I wouldn't be surprised if he now realizes at his age and what he is not the best fit right now.
He literally did Argyle a year and a half ago. That was his James Bond fucking power trip fantasy bullshit. That was.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like,
I
like,
also
forget
think
all that. The people who
Amazon.
think he could be a good James Bond are fucking morons. I watched the 7 minute fucking leaked audition he did. He was dog shit. It was horrific. It boils my blood. I'm never if Henry Cavill gets cast as the new James Bond, I will not be there. I won't put myself
Here's
through it,
here's the
and
thing.
no one will ever gaslight me into thinking it's good either. I will
Amazon
blindly hate it.
Amazon's hated enough by the world that if this flops even slightly, the British will rip it apart.
Like, it's insane. Like, that Amazon have bought so much goodwill on their TV and stuff with me. They have.
They're gonna burn it all.
They are literally going to burn it all and then some. They're going to need Reacher season 4 to have me weeping like a baby at its beauty to undo even a little bit of the damage they're going to do with their relationship with me. I can't. I could not envision a single world where the James Bond franchise is as good as or better after this.
I mean, from Rings of Power, I've already learned to accept that whatever Amazon does with a franchise, they're not going to do it perfectly. So,
At least they have like a what do you call it? Plausible deniability for Rings of Power, right? Because they're slightly limited by the material because of like the copyright laws and shit. They have
yeah,
complete creative
but
freedom with James Bond here. They're gonna make him a fucking CIA operative. I can feel it.
I mean,
They're gonna cast a random fucking American to do a horrific British accent and pretend it's a good decision.
they're going to get Alan Richardson.
Like, even that, I'd be fucking livid. It's just, oh,
Hey, you never know.
is nothing sacred. Speaking of is nothing sacred, Gwen Stacy is going to appear in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. That is
Yes.
good news. Unfortunately, she's not going to be Gwen Stacy, she's going to be Spider-Gwen. Why can't a supporting cast be a supporting cast anymore?
Hey, we don't know what this means. We've seen some time travel shit.
I don't like it.
Spider-Verse.
I don't like it. Why? Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the show I did, but if we actually break down the supporting cast, right? You've got Harry, Tombstone, Pearl, Nico, Norman.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the core supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl has powers. Tombstone has powers. Nico has powers. Harry is the guy in the chair for him, i.e., directly linked to him being Spider Man.
Mm-hmm.
Norman is going to be Green Goblin, i.e., his greatest adversary. Now they're going to add Gwen Stacy into the mix, and guess what? She's also got superpowers. It
Give
gets
everyone
rid of.
superpowers.
Yeah, but it gets rid of. If everyone has superpowers, no one has superpowers. You know what I mean? It gets rid of the whole, like, teenage angst of Spider-Man. How am I going to go on dates with Gwen because she can't know Spider-Man because that'll put her in danger? Well, everyone else fucking knows he's Spider-Man.
Hey, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt of like they know what they're doing and bringing her in because the show turned out really good.
I don't know if season 1 was entertaining enough for me to be okay with that decision.
I will be.
I think it only works in a multiversal sense where I don't have to think about it too much. But that's the problem because the multiverse films have been such a massive success. They're like, oh, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Dreadful, dreadful stuff. More terrible fucking news. Deadline has reported that Dwayne Johnson has been cast as the lead in Martin Scorsese's new film. I hate to be the person to break the news. Martin Scorsese has officially lost his mind.
It's, I mean, yeah, it's Dwayne Johnson. What more do we need to say here?
How is this happening? What have I done that is so bad that I deserve James Bond to be owned by fucking Jeff Bezos and Dwayne Johnson gets to be the lead of a Martin Scorsese film? What crime did I commit in a previous life to deserve this shit?
I can't wait for it to flop and Dwayne
Oh,
Johnson
I'm
complain.
gonna do numbers as a Dwayne Johnson hater if this film is dreadful. I'm literally gonna find a way to blame every bad thing that's happened in the world on him.
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese's like literally seen pretty unanimously as like a top 3 director.
Yeah.
If this film is bad, that falls on the actor's feet more than the director's feet at this
What
point.
if this film is like a meta pokes fun at the sort of character that Dwayne Johnson plays, and he doesn't realize that, but Martin Scorsese is hidden it in there that this is all just actually a jokey film about how shit of an
If
actor
Martin
he is.
Scorsese has I might love Martin Scorsese even more if it turns out that this film is like literally a burn film on Dwayne Johnson as a person. Because I love the notion of Martin Scorsese because he loves watching films, watching Dwayne Johnson films, and just going fuck this fucking guy, and he writes an entire film as a massive fuck you to this dude, and then casts him in it.
Makes him lose in every fight.
That is my only saving grace. There is no way that Martin Scorsese folds to this I have to win bullshit. There is no way.
I love if like he records all these fights and like on set, Dwayne wins these fights, and then at the end of the
Yeah, it
filming,
me.
he's gone. He's like, right, now I've got to film all the ends of these fights with a stand-in actor who looks just off enough that everyone knows it's a stand-in, but like he loses fights just to kind of poke fun at the fact that he can't lose a fight. And in all the fights that he has lost, which is all of them in this film, they had to put a stand-in in.
I genuinely, I saw this headline and I spent 5 minutes verifying that it was the right discussing film Twitter account and it wasn't like a really good parody account. I checked it had 2 million followers. I'm like, discussing film has 2 million. I was checking myself, I'm like, fuck, this is legitimate. This is an actual report. What do you mean? I hated it. It made me so angry. It was a really rough couple of days between Amazon on this. Um, Marvel has apparently paused development of 3 TV shows for Disney Plus: the Nova series, Strange Academy series, and Terra Incorporated series, which I don't think we know too much about. I think this is not that big of a surprise. We've
No.
known they've been working on them for a long time. We also know the plans for the MCU have changed a lot in the
Yeah, and
last
they've
few
scaled
years.
back a lot. It,
They're not cancelled, which is a good thing. So I'm excited for a Nova or Strange Academy series, but I think they have now realised they're coming post Secret Invasion,
yeah,
and maybe they need to be reworked for that.
I think they've kind of realized there's no point in keep introducing these new characters for like one TV show and then, like you say, Secret War comes and it blows the whole MCU up and like completely shifts things, and then people are just like completely forget about this character that was only introduced a month ago in a TV show that not many people watched or something. Like, yeah, it makes sense that this
Exactly.
stuff's got shelved.
James Watkins, director of Speak No Evil, seems to have been set to direct the Clayface film for DC, according to the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
Alongside that, something I forgot to add, I believe, one of the rumoured frontrunners is apparently Daniel Radcliffe.
Which is an interesting,
So it's
especially,
really funny. Go on.
well, I was gonna say, especially if we know, like they've said they kind of like the idea of this more traditional Clayface actor,
So,
theatre person.
yeah, post Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe has done batshit crazy roles. He's done lots of
Mm.
theatre work. He's done, I don't know if we've discussed it before, but one of my favourite things about British actors, right, is they'll go do a film, and then you'll feel like you won't see them for 2 years, and that'll be because they've been in the West End for 2 years because
Yeah.
they love the theatre. Like Tom Hiddleston's in Much Ado About Nothing with Hayley Atwell at the minute, ironically.
Mm.
Like genuinely, if you ever want to know where are the MCU stars when they're not in an MCU film, they're on the West End, especially the British ones. Every single
Yeah.
time, it's comedy. It's one of my favourite things about British actors. They love to act so much. They will go from earning millions for being on the big screen to barely making enough money to cover rent because they want to be on the West End and acting
Well,
still.
it's because
I love them for it.
all of us are brought up in this country on Shakespeare, which is just theatre.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
it's
all go back
brilliant.
to that.
And that's what Daniel Radcliffe's been doing post Harry Potter. He finished Harry Potter. He did a lot of weird films,
Mm.
phenomenal films, but weird films, not big franchise films.
Well, yeah, he was made an effort to branch himself away from being known as Harry Potter.
I don't think anyone who like got stuck in such a role has managed to have as good a career as he has afterwards.
Mm.
The closest is going to be Mark Hamill, but Mark Hamill had to like do that as a voice actor. Which, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is a phenomenal voice actor, but that's how he had to break away and make like a successful career for himself post Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, the notion of Daniel Radcliffe as like the actor going crazy, becoming this monster, I think he could act the fuck out of that.
I agree. And we
So
know that DCU seems to be a lot more comic booky, so a lot
yeah,
of fun stuff there.
they've said this is going to be like a traditional horror film with
Mm.
like a $40 million budget. Like, honest to God, if Daniel Radcliffe is interested, he might not have even realised this is connected to a big universe yet. He might have just like heard the story and gone, "That sounds fucking awesome."
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about that. This is kind of cool. Marvel and DC look set to publish two brand new one-shot crossover comics this year.
Oh, okay.
First time since like 2017, I want to say. Maybe even later.
Marvel's gone, oh, you're
Earlier.
finally doing a good cinematic universe. Yeah, we'll join up again.
I'm kind of curious. I might buy them, I might not. We'll see. But it's always fun to see crossover shit happen. It just is, whether
Well,
we
yeah.
like it or not. Whether everyone's like, oh, it's just key jangling. Yeah, and guess what? I like keys that jangle. They're better than silent keys. What do you want from me? Like, it's fucking awesome. Yes, I would like to see. I'd like to see Spider-Man and Superman have a chat about which donuts are better. Like, who gives a shit? It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, fair.
Why can't people enjoy stuff, Ori?
Yeah, like just enjoy James Bond.
I do. I want to. Marvel are now actively developing the X-Men films, according to Screen Rant, and they're focused solely on the X-Men as like a concept and not branch off films for individual mutants. This was according to Brad Winderbaum,
I
in an interview with Screen Rant.
I bet this is more so just them figuring out what is the story, like how did the X-Men story arc fit into the MCU story arc post soft reboot or
Secret
whatever.
Invasion, yeah. It's
Like,
got to be a soft reboot, otherwise it's going to be really. Oh, here are mutants, by the way.
yeah, that you've got to think like they knew from shortly, like obviously not making Iron Man because they thought Iron Man was a one-off, but like after Iron Man was so successful and they started fleshing out this MCU, that's when Kevin was like, "Oh, there's this story arc that they clearly started planning many years ahead of how to lead up to Endgame. They're going to be doing the same again because that worked last time, and they realized that's what was the core of what worked. So now it's like, how do all these other moving parts now fit into this idea? Mainly the X-Men.
We got our Andor season 2
We
trailer.
did.
We
Very
also got our
excited.
Andor season 2 release schedule.
We did. Not your favorite style of
So
release schedule.
I'm not a big believer in binging. I don't like it. What I will concede is I get why they've done it this time. Every 3 episodes, there is a time jump of a year.
Yeah.
So they're doing 4 weeks of 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I get logically why they think that's a good idea. Counterpoint. In all their marketing for Andor Season 2, they've basically gone, don't worry, this is the good Star Wars show. Why are you limiting yourself to 4 weeks of it? Well, like, I've said this a million times. Everyone knows how powerful social media is now. Star
Yeah.
Wars, despite its like faltering, is still massive in the online space.
Mm-hmm.
If Andor Season 2 is good, would you not rather 3 months of people going, this fucking rocks every week? A quarter of a year of good publicity for Star Wars. When was the last time that happened?
I mean, this is
Never.
just Disney Plus. Like they don't seem to ever want a show to like sit.
No, it's insane to me. Let it breathe.
I think like it's weird to me. It's like Disney is so they want to try everything against what used to work for TV. Like they're like, oh, this is streaming now. Things have to be done differently. And it's like, no, not necessarily. Like things can still be done the same because people like them that way.
We've already lost 24 episode seasons. I
Yeah.
do not want to lose like getting to enjoy a show for more than a month.
The annoying thing is, Andor will probably be very successful because it is the show that everyone's loved. So Andor season 2 will probably do very well, and they'll get crazy numbers, and they'll go, "Huh, this release schedule worked really well. Let's just keep
They'll
doing
use
this."
it to reinforce something
Yeah.
that's not there. I mean, like literally, like they did with Andor season 1, they gave us the 2 episode drop,
Hmm.
and it worked because the story needed it. But now there have been times they've done a 2 episode drop when maybe they didn't need a 2 episode drop, but now they've convinced themselves it needs to be a 2 episode drop.
Yeah.
I would rather this be 11 if they want to do a 2 episode drop, or even better, 12 weeks of us over the course of 3 months uncovering this Andor story and just getting to
They
be
should have
excited about it every week.
just give
Now I've
us.
got to find time every week to watch 3 hours of TV just in time for this, and that's going to be one segment for us.
They should have
It
done
seems
it.
nuts.
4 episodes is a year, and then you could have 1 episode a week, and each month is a year, and then you time hop in the next month.
There were so many better ways to do it. I disagree with it. Don't get me wrong, it might end up not being that bad, but it's just basically they're going, we're just going to release a film every week.
Which has always been Disney's problem we've felt, which is like they just take a film and chop it into TV length.
Yes. And that's the only way them doing the 3 episodes a week makes sense, is if it feels so continuous, you watch all 3 back to back to back. And if they've done that, they've just released 4 films. They've released Andor, Sorry, they've released Rogue One, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure the show's going to be great, but it's rubbed me the wrong way. But was anyone surprised?
No.
No. No one was surprised that Connor hates binging methods. It's bullshit. Let me enjoy stuff at a natural fucking pace like a human. Christ.